Trex was found in a glacier just a month ago. It all started when scientists picked up a strange signal under an icy mountain in Antarctica. The signal kept repeating in a pattern, which made them curious. They didn't know what it was, but they were sure something was buried deep under the ice. Dustin Timberlake was an explorer from Texas. He was 35 years old and had spent years traveling to dangerous and mysterious places around the world. He was chosen to be part of the team sent to check out the signal. When he heard about it, he knew he had to go. On March 14th, Dustin packed his things and started his long trip to Antarctica. The journey was not easy. He had to take many flights, then travel in snow vehicles across freezing land. The cold was brutal, and the wind roared like a wild beast. It felt like sharp knives cutting into his skin, but he didn't care. He was excited to see what was hidden under the ice. When he reached the site, the team quickly set up their camp near the place where the signal was strongest. They worked fast because they didn't want to waste time. Every night, as Dustin lay in his tent, he thought about what they might find. Was it an old machine? A crashed spaceship? Something even stranger? His mind was full of questions. Days passed, and the signal remained steady. Scientists used their equipment to scan the ice. The readings showed that something large was beneath them. The object was deep, but not too far to reach. They decided they had to find out what it was. The team got ready. They prepared their tools, checked their machines, and made sure they had everything they needed. They knew this could be an important discovery. The excitement in the camp grew stronger each day. Then, they started digging. The work was slow and difficult. The ice was thick and unyielding. Each day, the team used drills and shovels to break through, hoping to find something beneath. Days passed, and the signal remained steady. Whatever was down there was still waiting to be found. The team worked from morning to night. The wind was harsh, and the cold bit into their skin. Their hands ached, their backs hurt, but they kept going. The drills whined, and the shovels scraped against the ice. They dug deeper, inch by inch. Some nights they sat around the fire talking about what might be hidden below. Some thought it was an old ship trapped for centuries. Others believed it could be a lost city. A few even joked about something mysterious, something unknown. But no one knew for sure. They just kept digging. On the 20th day, while he was sleeping, Dustin heard a strange sound coming from the spot he had been digging. It was not the wind. It was something deeper, something from within the ice. He sat up quickly, his heart pounding. He looked around, but the rest of the team was asleep. He grabbed his flashlight and his tools. Without waking anyone, he made his way to the dig site. The sound was still there, faint, but real. He took a deep breath and started digging again. The night was silent except for the sound of his shovel. He worked carefully, chipping away at the frozen surface. His fingers felt stiff, and his breath came out in white clouds. The sound seemed to get louder as he dug. It was not random. It was steady, almost like something moving, something alive. His shovel hit something solid. He stopped. His breath caught in his throat. Slowly, he brushed away the ice and snow. At first, he could not believe his eyes. A dark shape lay beneath the ice. It was not a rock. It was not metal. It was something else. He reached out and touched it. It was smooth, almost warm despite the cold around him. His mind raced. What had he found? He wanted to wake the others, but something held him back. He just stood there staring as the ice seemed to whisper around him. Dustin had uncovered something unusual, a paw of a gigantic creature. He leaned in closer, examining it carefully. It was not like anything he had ever seen before. The paw was huge, covered in thick scales, and had sharp claws. It looked ancient, frozen in time. His breath quickened. He knew this was important. He had to see more. He grabbed his tools and started clearing the ice around the paw. His hands trembled with excitement. He had no idea what lay beneath, but he felt it was something extraordinary. The cold air bit at his skin. But he didn't stop. He carefully chipped away at the frozen layers, revealing more of the creature. Every second felt like a lifetime. He wiped sweat from his forehead, even in the freezing cold. His heart pounded. As the sun rose, the rest of the team woke up. One by one, they came over to see what Dustin had found. Their eyes widened in shock. They stood frozen, staring at the massive discovery. No one spoke at first. The silence was filled with the sound of ice cracking as Dustin worked. Then someone whispered, "What is it?" Dustin didn't answer. He wasn't sure yet. But he kept digging, determined to find out. Hours passed. More of the creature was revealed. The shape became clearer. It wasn't just a large animal. It was something from a time long before humans existed. By midday, the whole team was helping. They used tools, hands, anything they could to remove the ice. Their breath formed white clouds in the cold air as they worked tirelessly. Days went by. The team barely slept. Their excitement was stronger than their exhaustion. Slowly, the full form of the creature emerged. Then they saw it, its massive skull, its powerful jaw, its sharp teeth. A gasp spread through the group. Dustin stepped back, his eyes wide. He couldn't believe it. Before them lay an enormous figure, perfectly preserved in ice. It was none other than the T-Rex. The team stood in silence, staring at the frozen beast. Its massive body was perfectly preserved. Its sharp teeth were still intact. Its eyes were closed, as if it were simply sleeping. Dustin took out his GoPro, recording everything. This was the discovery of the century. The world would go crazy when they saw this. Then, something happened that no one expected. The T-Rex started to open its eyes. At first, it was just a small twitch. Then its eyelids lifted, revealing dark, terrifying eyes. The team gasped. Some took a step back. Dustin held his breath, gripping his camera tighter. A deep, low growl rumbled through the ice. Cracks started forming around the T-Rex's body. The ice was breaking. Panic spread through the group. People yelled, scrambling to move back. But Dustin kept recording. He knew he had to capture this moment, no matter what happened next. The cracks spread fast. Large chunks of ice fell to the ground. The T-Rex's body shifted slightly. It was waking up. It had been frozen for millions of years, but now it was coming back to life. "Run!" someone shouted. The team turned and ran. Some slipped on the icy ground. Others tripped over their own feet. Dustin moved back slowly, still filming. His heart pounded in his chest. The T-Rex let out a loud roar. The sound shook the cave. More ice shattered. The beast's huge claws twitched. Then, with a powerful movement, it broke free from the ice. Shards flew in all directions. The team barely made it to the exit. They looked back in horror. The T-Rex was fully awake now. It stretched its stiff legs, shaking off the last bits of ice. Its breath was heavy. Its nostrils flared as it sniffed the air. Dustin knew they had to get out fast. He turned and ran, his camera still in his hand. The others were ahead of him, already outside. The cold air burned his lungs as he pushed himself forward. Behind him, the T-Rex took its first step. The ground trembled under its weight. It let out another roar, even louder this time. Dustin finally reached the exit. He didn't stop running. The whole team ran, not daring to look back. The discovery of the century had turned into a race for survival.